ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Welcome back one last time, one last map in the evening for the ESL Pro League. I'm Moses, I'm joined by Blue. And this is going to be, that was a dominant first map from CLG. Really good stuff that we saw against KKona. And now on Dust 2, map that's very open for the op of JDM, who was effective on overpass, and now also you get into the mix the double op setup with Tarek over, if he wants to pick that up. We've seen it much in the past from CLG.
Yeah, this has been one of the very key factors with CLG, which made them so dominant on this map, is just that double op hold that they've been able to pull off on the CT side. If they get that rolling and they're able to pick up the first couple of rounds with it, they can prove to be almost an unstoppable force. And even when you do finally get past them, of course, they've stacked up so much money by that point that they're just going to buy it again and throw it at you once more.
Yeah, that is one of the big keys of overpass, is that they never were in pressure in terms of their money. They had so much built up, so many hot starts in the opening portions, and obviously winning that second round is big for them as well in the second half. But yeah, that's one of the keys. KKona is going to have to keep some of that money out of their hands. But either way, this is going to be the last match of the day. If you guys want to start previewing the schedule for tomorrow and some of the matches we're going to have over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday as well, check out some of the stats from previous matches in Pro League. You can use the Score Esports. That's going to help you out. And this is looking like it's going to be tomorrow's matches.
Yes, so tomorrow we're going to have Splice playing again against the CLG, so flipping it up a little bit. And KKona is also going to be playing again tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. They'll be taking on Winter Fox, which is another one of those lower matchup battles.
Yeah, so a couple more big matches for CLG that they should be able to win. But now against KKona, this is like we said, winning that first match is going to help them out in the standings, try and avoid some of that relegation. Tomorrow as well, they're going to have a similar situation against Splice. They essentially, this is what we talked about before this doubleheader even started, was that these two teams, there's more to play for than you might think in CLG's case, because they do want to avoid those relegation matches. As you can see here, 3-11, it's now 4-11, and it's also 1-14 for KKona. So not having, neither team having too great of a season, but at least in the last matchup, CLG looked a little bit more like the CLG we've seen in recent months.
KKona is essentially chasing the other teams above them to try and get more wins before they end up running out of matches here, and they're very, very quickly doing that. So they've got to be cautious. This will be the third time we've seen both of these teams play this match, of course, throughout the Pro League season. CLG going 1-1. But for KKona, 0-2, as this map oftentimes in North America just turns into a raw skill battle between the 10 players in the server. And CLG, without question, are definitely going to be on the higher end of that, just purely high reputation.
Yeah, especially in terms of Tarek, who's been a monster lately for CLG. He's been playing some very, very good matches, been some very good opponents. Here, almost in an, maybe not necessarily impossible, but tough situation to win in a 1-on-2.
Oh, here we go again. He's running.
Tarek, man. All right. So, Dust 2.
Yakety sex.
key to the matchup, as we mentioned. The double op setup for CLG is going to be effective. JDM can be very effective. KKona's got to prevent the economy from building up too much on the CLG side. But this is a much more open map, so this is kind of that upset map. So it might give a little bit more freedom to KKona to play a little bit more individual, not as tactically complex as overpass can be at times. So it'll be interesting to see how CLG is going to manage this.
The thing is, though, is that with KKona specifically, like when we look back at that last map, do we really note any huge standout performances from any of their players? It doesn't necessarily look like that's the case. Didn't really see any huge plays. We see Els having that one really good round for himself. But beyond that, there was never really any huge clutches or huge individual plays that came out from the side of KKona.
Yeah, it was...
Sorry to interrupt. Even Vice, to a certain degree, who had just recently joined up with this roster, we saw him in the first matchup they played, I think versus Complexity. He did a fantastic job and was definitely the shining star for this team, but that's not necessarily the case so far tonight.
Yeah, Vice, he was actually on TSM for a while, trialing with him. So, yeah, came here after that didn't work out for him. But now they are going to go live into the pistol round. KKona winning that knife round, choosing to start on the terrorist side. This is one of those maps that's a little bit more even. Again, mass armor for both teams. It's just Ocean with the smoke flash and then Hazed with the smoke and a kit to utilize. And that kit is going to be brought over towards the B bomb site, which is actually where KKona is looking to head. 4 members in the upper B tunnels. Ocean is going to be over back towards long. but Hayes is going to have a lot of pressure on him. He's got no teammate even close for the rotate.
And of course, everybody from KKona is going to explode out, and there you go. Hayes tries to take the battle, but unfortunately pays the price with blood as he goes down very quickly. They'll take full control of it, and not only this too, but take a look at Ocean. Nicely done by him. He's going to be able to round directly behind these players, trying to keep himself quiet about it as he drops down, but actually I think they're too far away to hear him. Thankfully, there's somebody waiting over here just outside the mid doors, and they're going to spot him anyway, but still, ultimately, it's a 4-on-5 to try and retake this. Ocean, though, holding on his own, picking up 1 kill, looking for the second now. Not going to happen. Tarek manages to take him down, and Cutler looking for a close battle by the doors. Not going to be finding it just as of yet, and as he goes in, he's just shut down by Invert. Everybody on CLG bowing down to KKona here, and they will be picking up this pistol round victory.
A nice shot from Tarek there at the end, but it's not going to amount to much. KKona do win. Pretty much just a very easy win once they take down Hayes. A couple nice shots from the Glock. He's the only defender there, so then it's just a difficult retake, especially with no nades. Made mention of the fact that Hayes was the only one with any kind of utility, and once he falls, it's essentially all over for CLG. But much like Overpass, we are seeing an investment into this round. Hayes with Deagle armor. There's a CZ bought up by Cutler, although no armor invested in by JDM. No upgraded pistol either, so he is, this time at least, keeping the op for that 4th round, or keeping the money to be able to buy that op. Tarek has the scout here. And KKona perhaps having a little bit of nightmares trying to make sure they don't lose this 2nd round as well.
And Tarek, of course, just scouting out to see if there's going to be any attempt from KKona to take control of mid and then work for cat control from there, or even just try to execute the mid to B split from there. Looking like it's definitely going to be a sort of cat or mid-focus play this time from KKona, but Tarek's waiting for it. The smoke rolls out, though. That limits his vision severely. But still, KKona just holding back to the top of mid there, and they're just now, I think, starting to move a player inside of the long doors, that being Els, to look for a way outside of it. Fugly will be resisting this on the other side, but a very, very passive sort of play here from KKona. They do not want to be taking any risk with the force-up coming in from CLG.
Well, and again, I mean, Fugly's the only one here. He's got no teammates nearby. The Molotov's going to come out to force him away. Power play, though. Invert drops in the middle of the round. So a 4-on-4 situation, although nothing is going to come from it. Els and Vice make sure that they stand strong. So KKona almost in a scary spot. I imagine there will be a pause into the next round if he can't get back in. Hayes, though, guarding across the Deagle. Can't land anything. JDM's the last one left. And this round is all KKona.
Power play didn't work out very well, as it would seem. Position's not being held very well, and KKona just...
Yeah.
All right, guys, just stick together. We'll move through this.
I mean, it could a couple nice kills of that hold. I mean, the CLG defense did rotate over to bail Fugly out in timely fashion. Just nothing comes from it, and no pause is going to be needed because Invert is back on the server already, and there's JDM. He falls to Rue. Pretty standard stuff from KKona, although just by default, just by dropping out of the server, they do lose 1 weapon. No big deal though. So CLG is going to be forced to be a little bit more conservative with their money in this round. No investment in armor. Tarek has the Zeus, though, and he loves this thing. He goes for it, and I would love to see that right now.
We'll see if he's able to impact with it. Of course, the path that he'll be taking. Actually, if they get aggressive in the tunnels, they might be able to catch Els off guard, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He's just hugging the boxes, hoping to find someone from there. Ruru looking for a way outside of the doors. Lines 1 up, but 2 more jump outside of hiding directly after that, and they find the trade. Now again, KKona is going to have to try to find a way through. Hayes, though, gets a nice spot. Spots them pushing out from mid. Tries to fall back into a safe spot and succeeds. Gets himself into the site. And now he's got the early warning that the take is going to be coming in. Still into coming down because he still has the measly little USP. But now they can try to react to this one. And there's Tarek, but the zoom a little too far away. So Invert's going to take him down.
Poor bastard. Cutler with the AK trying to spam through the smoke. The bomb is actually dropped outside, so there's an opportunity. Fugly, I mean, this is a little bit unfortunate. He only has a pistol to work with because Vice is caught and isolated. Cutler with the AK-47, though, he might just want to think about starting to bail out and just save this weapon, although it is a 2-on-2. So see if he can get 1 kill very, very early on to turn this into a 2-on-1 and a little bit more duel. No kit, so they've got to speed this up. They do have a flashbang to work with, but 2 Molotovs from the KKona side should pretty much make this an impossible. And actually, now they have 2 AK-47s.
They're going to save now.
Yeah, now they're going to save because that's big weaponry to bring forward.
So falling back from that one, and of course, that's going to save them a whole lot of money now transitioning into that first gun round. And KKona doesn't even look like they're even making an attempt now to move out and hunt these down. Little do they know possibly that they've even picked them up. So CLG getting away with these 2 big guns scot-free. And the volunteer from KKona mainly just trying to survive with their own guns as they evacuate out of the site. But both of them going to hide down on opposite sides of the map. And CLG will be taking 2 free rifles into their first gun round, which can save them a lot of money in the long run. And if they end up losing it, make a 5th round force-up a very large possibility.
Yeah, we talked about one of the keys for KKona is limiting the economy of CLG, not letting them build up in terms of their money, and this is a little bit of a rough start. This essentially saves CLG a little over $6,000 for them to invest $3,100 in 2 M4s. So that's huge. can see Cutler after the buy. He's got 3,500 to work with. So fast towards long. Els is going to be the aggressor, the only one out. The flashbangs force everyone from CLG back. They didn't use too much utility to slow things down, but this is going to be a very quick A split. 3 members of KKona already have catwalk. That smoke delays it, though. They have cat control, and they might just want to chill, wait for that to fade away before Els and Invert kind of do anything. Oh, JDM's going to have a tough spot. That Molotov, I think it's a little bit missed. It's not forcing him out. That's a nice shot from Invert, though, and now JDM standing in the fire to try and make something happen. He gets brutalized from catwalk.
Pushed into a corner, so it's easy pickings for Vice to find. Fugly, though, rounding around the back, gets 2 of them. Takes down Ruru and Ocean, looking for a third. The Mon's going to go onto the site, trying to prevent the plant from Vice, and he succeeds at it. Nicely done catching that angle there. So Vice forced back a little bit. But Tarek a little bit scared. Oh, no, they're going to do the run boost. Is this going to be the run boost? Or no, he's just trying to peek out so he can get a good angle, but Vice, unfortunately, is too well hidden, and not only this, too, but now we're going to see Fugly picking up an additional kill on Vice. Nicely done with that bit of a boost there. However, Invert catches him on the cross as he tries to get a little bit closer to that bomb site, and it's all on Tarek to clutch the 1v2. He's going to be peeking out, though, but not able to catch the angle onto Invert, and he's going to shut it down. Very well played by Invert. He's the savior of that round as he picks up 3 kills for his team.
Yeah, 3 kills, and now CLG has a decision to make. Because Cutler has 6,400, because Fugly has 5,600, they can actually buy into this, and they are going to do exactly that. Very, very aggressive. Cutler is going to pass that op over to JDM. Scout onto Hayes. Cutler and Tarek will be stuck on pistols. Ah, nope. Cutler has a Faunus. This might actually catch KKona off guard. They might not be expecting, especially the AWP on JDM. That might be a surprise to them.
To start it off, it's a fairly similar setup to what we've been seeing from KKona in almost every single round to this point. Grouping up towards middle here. They're keeping a couple players ready to push out to get long control there. Cutler, though, also up close and ready to take that duel versus Ruru if he attempts to make a push out towards there. As KKona groups up, a decision will be made here whether to try and do for the mid to be execute or attempt to do the same thing they did in the last round where you just go for cat control and slowly work their way to the A-bomb site. It was very successful in the last round, so no reason to not try and repeat the same feat once more. This time, though, pressure's going to come from Cat first, and then the long hit will come a little bit later on, I imagine, from Ruru.
And it's just going to be a slow lurk for Ruru. The main prong of this attack, it almost looks like actually this is going to turn into a mid-B split where they pressure up Catwalk. I mean, they pulled Tarek and Fugly over towards CT spawn. So they have over a minute to figure things out, but Cutler winning that battle. Ruru's going to fall there, and yeah, actually Vice and Invert have gone back towards long, so now it's an A split, and actually everyone from CLG has evacuated the B bomb site. No one's even on that half of the map, so all 5 members of CLG here. Is it going to matter? Els gets a first kill. Tarek does trade that off, and he actually holds strong for a second as well, and just Vice and Invert out towards long. That was very disjointed split on towards this A bomb site.
30 seconds left on that clock, and KKona not making a whole lot of progress. They're getting themselves up onto the same bomb site. CLG have started to rotate back a little bit. They're going to smoke the cross, but Keller ready to try and peek back out to catch some of these guys. However, he's going to be flashbanged, and that allows Vice to get very close up. Support's on its way, but it might not even be needed. Cutler shutting down the first player, Vice, and Hayes outside the smoke. Takes down Invert, ends the round, and finally CLG are on the board.
Yeah, an aggressive buy from CLG there, and it works out. It comes down to saving those 2 AK-47s in the 3rd round, so you can see what that does for CLG now. They're on the board. They also salvage an AWP, a free op, so they get a free double op setup. Another buy, though, for KKona. They've built up a decent amount of money themselves. It's Els and Vice still have plenty of money. The other 3 are a little bit starved. Ocean's just going to be on a Tech 9, and he's going to get just wrecked.
Down goes Ocean.
It's
and
the
of
bomb
course,
as well.
Not only this too, but Tarek has driven a wedge between the 4 remaining players left in this one. 3 of them are stuck inside of the tunnels, and 1 more is stuck outside of long, and that's exactly where Ruru's been playing this for a lot of these rounds up to this point. JDM, though, it's fed the first one essentially for free. Els along with Vice are trying to move in, but the flashbang affects both teams. And JDM trying to find those shots, and so is Tarek, though, but Vice moving in, takes down JDM. So much chaos, but Tarek ends up coming out on top of it as he takes down Vice, leaving only Ruru alive. He's retrieved the bomb. He's going to try to make a push over here towards long, but I imagine CLG should be able to get the read on this and rotate over to stop him before he can get that bomb on the ground.
Yeah, but how long is it going to take? That's the question, because they still haven't moved from the bomb site.
No, it doesn't look like they're actually going to realize it at all. So
yeah, I mean, they don't have the bomb down there. They're not seen on radar, but yeah, this is just a little bit unexpected. I mean, there's no reason to think that would be that heavy of a hit at the B bomb site and for the bomb to be on the other side of the map. So, I mean, leaving the bomb towards T-spawn when Ocean drops it upon being killed is actually a blessing in disguise, because Ruru's at least able to get the bonus money and a chance to win a 1-on-3. He's going to bounce that flash over. It's going to delay Fugly a little bit, but now they know he's around the site area. And he's going to use the smoke wisely, peer around the edge of it, but is the timing going to be with him? CLG haven't spotted him. Now he spots the jump. He's going to try and isolate this 1-on-1. He at least finds Tarek, but Cutler's there to trade him off immediately in the op. It's going to be brought into the next round as well.
Waiting too long, unfortunately, the recheck back over there by the ramp. So CLG do sneak their way around it. They'll lose one of their 3 remaining players, but ultimately, of course, still end up winning the round there. But KKona do manage to escape with the plan as well here, so giving them a little bit of an extra boost on their money side of this one. We'll see if they decide to force it. Probably would not be the wisest thing now, considering they still have that lead. Just save for 1, and they can go for... Actually, no. I was about to say they could save for 1 and then buy up on the next round before CLG tie, but they're going to go for it here.
Wrecked Blue. How's it feel?
I don't know.
So this is the buy they're going to bring in. 2 AKs, a Scout, 2 Tech 9s as well.
I feel a lot less wrecked if they lose this round.
And JDM with that AWP is going to be out towards long. Cutler as well is there. And it's another situation where maybe CLG is not expecting a buy, just based off what they feel the money is. Very passive play, though, from KKona initially. They're going to stay very, very far back. Being very cautious not to get picked off by the AWP of JDM. So they have control of upper B. They have control of mid as well. Invert with the bomb is going to lean towards the B tunnel, so this could eventually turn into a mid to B split. Rue still hasn't moved out towards watching long whatsoever. And this looks like Ocean and Els are just going to create some noise up on Catwalk and eventually fall back into that mid to B.
It's going to leave a lot of that pressure, though, if they do decide to peek back out over here towards JDM. But he's going to spot it, knows there's nothing coming his way for the time being. A nice flashbang holds Ocean back for a little bit longer. The smoke comes in, but I think it's slightly off the mark. Yep. So JDM's still going to be able to spot things quite nicely. Shuts down Ocean. Nothing follows from it. And also, they're working their way out through mid now. Tarek shutting down Els. They haven't even spotted Fugly yet, too. He's boosted up on boxes, and he doesn't even need to. And Tarek just re-peeks out, gets another kill. Hayes doing so much damage in the site. He only manages to get 1. Vice cleared out both Tarek and Hayes, but he's the last one alive in a 1v3. And playing aggressively up to the door might not be the wisest option. The best thing for him to do at this point is to get that plan and get that bonus money for KKona. So it goes onto the floor. Going to be able to succeed in getting the bomb down, but now it's the inevitable hold, the miracle hold that he's going to have to try and pull off. Tries to peek out, but JDM's waiting far back. Shuts down Vice, and, well, what do you know? KKona lose the round after all, so that buy was useless. I'm right.
Oh, vindication. So sweet. But yeah, with that $800, I mean, KKona does have a pretty decent amount of money, and with that losing bonus build-up, they can actually invest a little bit into this round if they wanted to. I mean, you can see some Deagles are going to start coming out, maybe some upgraded pistols, light armor, so they can actually buy themselves down to around $2,000 and still have a pretty solid buy because of the losing bonus in that plant. So it's still a chance here to try and keep the economy of CLG measured. Hayes and Tarek both at $50, so very, very low over towards that B bomb site, but initially all of KKona just grouped up out towards long. Not really deciding what to do yet. They have 1 smoke on Els. They've got 4 flashbangs on Ocean and Vice. Got some utility, but Tarek's in the lower B, so he's got a good spot, and JDM's also going to be helping look towards the top of mid.
But very, very slow and cautious now coming out from KKona. The move to take control of Cat actually goes pretty successfully, too. Not a whole lot coming in the way of CLG resisting it, but the problem, though, is that CLG just have a default flank lined up ready to go here. Tarek's waiting for them in lower tons. They're going to spot him early as that smoke fades, and he only gets 1. And now they've confirmed that there is 100% going to be a very, very heavy hit from Cat coming anytime soon. And they've also spotted the recross on it, too, so they can call for rotations back to the B bomb site, but it's not happening. Most of their players are still sticking to A.
Yeah, he's just isolated here. He's got to get up on platform or in the window somewhere where he can actually get a kill and save it and save his life. This should allow for a plant, and actually there's the M4 of Rude, takes down Hazed. CLG's in danger of dropping this round, so vindication for you is not out of the woods just yet.
That would be CLG's fault. That's not my fault. Anyway, so 3-on-4. It does look like CLG are going for the cross. The problem is, though, is they're taking so much time to line up for this, and more than likely, Color is going to be in a pretty bad spot when he tries to go inside of tunnels here. There's 2 players waiting for him. I don't think they're expecting him to come from the courtyard, though, but messes up that spray majorly, and he's just going to get destroyed by Ruru as he turns himself back around. Fugly finally picking up a trade, but also you can see their JDM going down, and Ocean just rounds around the back, shuts both the Rhino players down, and KKona seal that round away, and they keep their lead going strong for the time being.
All right, then. Well, Tarek drops the M4 in lower B when he dies, and I mean, that weapon actually had a huge impact. That's what killed Hazed over at the B bomb site before he could even have any kind of input on the round. But the main issue is that all the defense, once Tarek spots them all on Catwalk, they all just basically guard up the A bomb site. No one was even close to rotating to help out Hazed. So he gets left in the cold. Aggression, though. Invert with the op. He has the angle, and it looked like Tarek was going to swing right into it, but he slows down just the last second and actually could get re-aggressive through the smoke. Looks like Hayes has the idea, but he's going to choose not to do it. So KKona just spread out in their default. 2 in B tunnels, 2 outside of long, and Invert kind of just deciding where he wants to go from here. He does have the AWP as well.
Now, again, KKona sort of just hanging out, rounding the timer down by quite a bit here, as they've often done in some of these previous rounds. Waiting for the correct time to go for the attack, but CLG a lot more passive as well. Not really trying to skirt around with mid to spot some of these players that may be lining up here. They got a lot of intel in the last round, but failed to really act on any of it. So the flashbang comes out, Els peeking out through middle. Not a whole lot of pressure over here in CT spawn. In fact, both of them are sitting up on Cat mainly right now. So Els is not really going to be able to find too much initially. The question now is, where does the call send them towards? Are they going to continue to pile more players out here and try to do a mid to be split, or are they going to attempt to do some magic here with Cat too? And it looks like they're going to put that pressure on mid instead, which puts a lot of pressure on Tarek to hold this with just this little 5-7 here.
There's a good kill from Fugly, though. Gets that first one. JDM's traded off. When does Tarek decide to peek? Sees that smoke, gonna throw the pop flash. They've already rounded the corner. He recovers nicely. Hayes is gonna push into upper B, and he clears that out. So that's good map control gain for the fact that they lost control in mid. Fugly trying to get creative on top of the boxes. He finds it through the smoke. There it is. Hayes with the flank. So somehow, this is pulled right back into CLG's favor. Vice had to go get the bomb, so he's not even going to be able to land that kill on Fugly. Takes the fight. But 4-5, neither of these teams able to really build too much in these last couple rounds. It's been back and forth.
So KKona now, after dropping that one, placed into another situation where it's a questionable point in time to try and force things up here. Judging from Vice's buy, nope, they're going to force themselves up once more here. So getting tossed over to Ocean, and Ocean actually going to escape this one with like 5,800 left. So we'll be using that early on, and only a couple really major downgrades are looking at Vice and Invert, but again, Ocean gets destroyed early in the round by JDM. Puts that up to the ground, but it will be recovered by Invert.
Yeah, L's now gonna be marching his way up catwalk. Tarek does fall back from mid. It's a 5-on-4 situation. As you can see, CLG has no desire to be very aggressive. They're just going to turtle up in the bomb sites. Mid is pretty much wide open at the moment. And all of KKona is spread out. L's going to try and make a play off catwalk. The bomb on Vice is meeting up with Invert and B tunnel. So hopefully potentially relying on Invert with the AWP to find a pick into that B site and kind of convert that into a B hit. Rue is still lurking out towards long. He seems very disconnected. CLG still don't have the intel of what's coming. Tarek just now spots Invert, but he's not going to re-peek. He knows they hold the angle. That pop flash did absolutely nothing, so very wise of Tarek not to peek with it. Invert now is going to get dropped by Hazed.
And Els responds with his own pickup, however, on the JDM, but it's in a completely separate part of the map, and still very little control being gained here by KKona with only 40 seconds left on that clock. It looks like they're going to try to go for, actually, oh, cancel that. Well, it's looking like they were going to try to go for a last-second mid to B split, but changing it up to a cat hit at the last moment here, which is a good thing, too, because there was a lot of defense outside of those mid doors. Albert Fugly moves out, and there we go. The round's essentially over at this point. Now that they found that kill, they dropped the bomb on device. These other two have to fall back, wasting so much time just to retrieve it. Fugly will be challenging this, and even if they manage to kill him, they're not going to have a time to get themselves back over to the site, and they box in this final player. No way else is escaping this one. Hayes is going to shut it down, and CLG once again will tie things up now at 5 rounds to either team.
Yeah, and they finally forced a save out of KKona, so there's no chance of a buy here, sitting right around 2K. They are going to invest a little bit, it looks like. Rue just with the P250 armor, but very nice opportunity for CLG to gain some money. Can't take too many losses. Need to build up some of that economy, because KKona is not really going quietly. They're really fighting back in this map, which was something we didn't see on Overpass so much. So an early op shot is taken and then dropped right back towards JDM. All 5 members of KKona out towards long. They do have a smoke and a flash, although choosing now that that smoke has appeared out towards the long doors not to go quite through it. There's the pop flash. Cutler's blind. He's just going to peek and spam right through the smoke. He knows the angle. They're going to fight this. So the JDM misses the shot. They might want to start falling back now. The JDM holds strong. There's Cutler as well. He does get traded off, and Fugly makes it there just in time. He does eventually fall, but 2 important kills for him. And
Good wreck, JDM.
So JDM does eventually fall to Rue. Can they save the op? Is there enough time? Yes, they do have it at the end.
Rue there with the mind gameplay, ducking behind. I'm gone. Nope. Jumps out, rounds around, grabs the headshot. But well, all about to nothing. Actually, a surprisingly good amount of damage done when you consider the overall investment that KKona threw into that round. So not bad that they managed to trade on 2 or 3 kills there at the end. But CLG now take the lead. The question, though, is can they hold it, since this has been a very close battle back and forth, and possibly coming back once again now that KKona immediately gets a reinvestment into this round.
Default setup from CLG. I mean, they've pretty much been running this the whole time. JDM's going to be out towards cars with the AWP. Fugly's going to be in CT spawn. These starts to these rounds from both teams are just very, very standard. KKona just setting up in a default. Want to make sure they don't get punished by any aggression, any kind of tricky plays. And Invert, he has to scout this round, doesn't have the MVP. There's still 5 smokes on the KKona side, so saving some of this utility for an execute. Tarek and Fugly have a pretty nasty crossfire set up in mid. Tarek hears these. Oh my god. Speaking of nasty, get out, Fugly. Oh, Tarek, that flash is perfect, but he can't kill anyone. L's down to 1, Ocean down to 6. Hayes again, very lonely in this B bomb site. Got to choose where he wants to divide his attention. It's at window. He gets the first kill, trying to fight his way out, but it's not going to work. This round is lost. JDM and Cutler might want to try and save their weapons already, unless L's is low. They might not realize that quite yet, but if they can get another kill here pretty soon, they could try and make this into a retake.
They're being so cautious there to make sure nobody peeks them from outside a window or door, but I think they're grouping up now to try and push themselves. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be trying to go for it here. A lot of smoke pressure and molly pressure, of course, back up towards window 2 from KKona, so it's going to take a lot of effort to get back into this bomb site, but they have the nades that are needed. 2 mollies, one sitting on either one of them. First one being used by Cutler. Doesn't really connect very well. Also, flashbangs going out there too. Finally, starting this retake now is Cutler moving in, but looks to the wrong spot and Vice takes him down. And now JDM might just want to consider saving, gets a kill, but he's running out of time. He's got the kit, but it doesn't matter. Although Vice is going to walk right into it. He's trying to move into this site, but might have just spelled his own doom here. Is he close enough to die? And yes, he is. There goes the op. L survives, which is 1 HP.
That round is completely different if Tarek's able to get, you know, either one of those kills, one of those 2. Really unfortunate. Now with the money situation being the way it is, CLG could force buy into this, but I doubt they go for it. That would pretty much, if they lose that. Okay, now it's my turn.
Get wrecked, Moses.
Yeah, you know, if they lose this round, it pretty much spells the end of the half for them. So scout on JDM, pistol on Tarek.
Saving? No, not in North America. So Brew has actually been pretty good here too, taking these duels back by that door area. So JDM is going to be trading that out.
Where's the bomb?
Is it?
They're gonna have to boost over to get
Wait.
it. No, they got it. It's not stuck.
Yeah, they got it. Okay. It was
Scary
almost
situation.
stuck.
We can breathe easy. Meanwhile, Els and Vice have made that almost irrelevant. 2 kills for them. It's a 3-on-2 situation, and all the defense is over towards the A bomb site. Hazed and Fugly. And this is just going to turn into a free B bomb site. So again, CLG might be in a situation where they need to save these weapons.
He's moving out the check over here towards middle, but a little bit late on that one. Ocean has already swooped away towards the top of the tunnels. Won't be catching anybody there. Fugly grouping up on them, but it's that same situation again. And they have much less utility to work with this time too, so you're absolutely right. Nothing left for CLG to do here. Just going to be falling back. They're going to save those guns. As with the force coming in, they're out of cash. Neither team's really having luck with these force ups, unfortunately. But if they can save these 2 rifles, at least they're still going to be able to make a little bit of impact by having that power, while the rest of their teammates are going to be on mainly pistols.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, next round, Fugly and Hayes might be able to do, if they can land a couple nice shots, they'll be able to even things out, maybe soften up some opponents for the pistols. But they do have to save them. There is a small hunt. Ocean's going to be the closest one, jumping up on the boxes, and he's just going to get killed, not even aware of what's happening. Vice, next one to challenge, and he's the only one here. Invert's actually trying to like wrap around, but Vice is caught out in the open by 2 members of CLG, so they're going to clean him out. So, I mean, actually, there's really not that much money on the KKona side. This could be very, very low on economy. So these 2 AK-47s could do some damage for CLG here.
Some downgrades now coming in for KKona too. Galil sitting on the invert. It's the only one, but still a couple other players now are going to be very low on utility because of that. Vice and Ruru basically have nothing. Els only has a smoke and a flashbang to work with, so it's definitely limited these players now. And with CLG actually still having 4 to 5 of their guys on rifles, JDM's the only one that unfortunately is not able to get one. Maybe they can hold them back a little bit here, especially since KKona is not going to be as heavily armed going into this site with smoke support and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, JDM is just kind of, that's saying, no matter what happens next round, we want you on that AWP just to try and help us out of the last round if we don't have anything, or it'll be a strong weapon to ensure that we can end on 8. So we'll have to see how this is going to play out. Without the op on JDM, who's usually using it at car, they have put Fugly up on catwalk. He is a little bit more dedicated towards this A bomb site. Pop Flash is going to at least force him away initially down into CT spawn. There's a smoke for the mid to B, and what's the response? Rue's trying to get a pick. It's against JDM, who just has a pistol. And the rest of KKona is going to swing out towards long. 2 members on catwalk, 3 out towards long, so it's going to be Cutler, who has a big job to do in pit.
Cutler, of course, going to be alerted to this now as they very slowly push their way outside of it, but Cutler missing that first connection, going to try to pop flash over to it. Fugly means I'm actually taking down Els towards mid, but Cutler doesn't realize that Vice is sneaking over him, so he's got to just hide down inside. JDM catches 1 action just with that USP, and Cutler almost grabbing a second. In fact, at the end of the day here, CLG hold the advantage, and by catching Rue on the flank over here on Cat, they left only Invert alive. 30 seconds left to take a 1-on-3 take, and 2 out of 3 of the players from CLG are already at this bomb site with a 3rd ready to flank him in a moment.
What can Invert do? That's a nice headshot, but yeah, that flank is coming in, and he's not even aware of it. Fugly just taking shots just to distract him, and it works perfectly. So another force buy for CLG that doesn't look too likely, but they make it work, and now JDM's got the AWP in his hands as well. And actually, there's nothing on the KKona side. Invert's going to have either a glass cannon AWP or an AK armor and utility, but the rest of them are just going to be stuck on pistols. And Invert does go for the naked AWP.
So KKona, unfortunately, running themselves a little bit dry here at the last round, and CLG saving themselves. Invert missing the connection with that up, and unfortunately now placing himself in a situation where can he successfully try and use this thing, where he doesn't put himself in a pressure situation, especially with how split KKona have been. There haven't been a lot of all-in takes towards one angle. They've always been trying to do mid to B takes with some tunnel usage or cat takes by using long. There's never been an all-in like one push hit from these guys where that op could really be useful just in the chaos of it. So now he's got to try to find a spot with that. But it looks like he's going to be grouping up with the tunnel push, trying to move in with the rest of his teammates there.
Yeah, Fugly's going to be under some pressure in CT spawn. And actually, I mean, CLG's really struggled at defending against the mid to B split. So for KKona, that might be their best option. They just don't have the utility for it. Just essentially relying on Invert to get a pick with this op, and they just have to wait and run this clock down to see if he can get something, and it's not going to happen. Smoke just plumes right now, so delayed even longer. They're going to try and peer over it, but they won't see anything. No one from CLG playing on the platform. And they have one flash on Vice to make it work, and he's on catwalk. So that flashbang isn't going to do anything, and Rue's actually going to be the one, it looks like, to lead the way. So hopefully baiting a shot out of Hayes and letting gathering the intel and seeing what he can do, but it's not going to work out. They're just getting slaughtered. There it is. Finally, Invert gets involved, but it's too little, too late. Perfect flashbang. They could knife him at this point, but Tarek's going to have mercy.
It makes sense for Rue to try and lead the charge there, as we saw when he was pushing out towards the long A. A lot of the times he would almost, at the very least, try and find a trade kill there, but that time without the utility, as you mentioned, it was going to be a very rough chance of getting in there. And not KKona, apologies, CLG had barely used any of their utility up to that point, so they were going to be able to very easily hold that up regardless. So CLG will hold the lead, but it's a very small hold, and it was a very back and forth afterwards, but I think the biggest lead we saw one of those teams hold was like 2 or 3 rounds at max at one point. So heading into the second half here now, it's going to be a very close contest to close it out, I imagine.
Yeah, much different than Overpass. We mentioned at the start of the map that it was a map that lends itself to a little bit more of a pug style. You don't have to be as detailed. It's a little more standard in how it's played out. So KKona there with a good fight in the first half. All remains to be seen if they can do the same on their defense, where it does require more teamwork, more communication. So it could be an opportunity for CLG to just kind of run them over and get this done with a little bit quicker than KKona would like.
We'll be jumping into that in a second. One player that has, like, I was talking a bit about this game, before this game started rather, about like individual performances. One guy that I think has stepped up a little bit here was actually Vice. One of the guys I brought up as an example is someone who was doing great in their last match versus Complexity, but not so much here today. But he's actually been, him and was it Ruru actually were quite impactful when it came to getting their players out onto the site itself. And when it came to closing out rounds, Vice was your man for it, but Ruru was absolutely fantastic at those long pushes. Like I said, definitely had a very high percentage on his win rates there, at the very least at taking a 1-for-1 trade when pushing out there to give his teammates what they needed to get started on an A push.
Yeah, good stuff, all things considered. So CLG now is going to be on this T side, and this will be a little. I'm really curious to see what JDM is going to be able to do with the AWP on the T side. See where exactly he's going to go, because they have been a much more like measured and slow tactical team lately. Ever since like Peta started to institute his whole coaching philosophy, how he wants them to play, and it's looked a little bit more impressive. But it's JDM who's kind of also slowed things down. He used to be a very aggressive peaker, very aggressive, stylish opper. Now he's much more opping within the system. So pretty interested to see how that's going to play out.
So just waiting for one player, as DJ is showing us now, to not be AFK anymore. Somebody from KKona. So as soon as this player is back, we should be readying up and jumping into that second half. As KKona continues their attempt to race back. Still only 1 win so far throughout
Ocean,
the entire season. Is it Ocean?
It's Ocean,
yeah.
Obviously.
It's got to be ready, man.
Everyone tweeted Ocean. Tell him to ready up.
Rip his inbox.
Don't know his Twitter, by the way. But yeah, so just waiting on him to get back from a bathroom break, perhaps. And then we will get live into the round.
There we go. I think he's back. He just moved. Hey!
There it is.
You were exactly right. As soon as he's back, we're live. All right, guys. So second half, for those of you that are just joining us once again, this is the ESL Pro League first day of Week 8 here being played out. The final match between KKona and CLG. Both these teams battling to remain out of relegation here, as CLG is currently down 4-11 in their season, whereas KKona is 1-14 now. Actually, I think after that last match where they dropped that one they're definitely at a very big risk, because if they don't pick up at least 2 or 3 more wins within the course of their final matches, then they are 100% guaranteed to be eliminated from Pro League with no chance to save themselves.
Jesus, it's harsh.
It's the truth, man.
It got dark real quick here in the Pro League broadcast. Nice shot from Rue. Trades off Fugly. But mid control is lost. No more presence there, and the defenders are all isolated. Everywhere CLG goes, it's going to be a one-man defense. And they're still just, I mean, they force back the pressure on Catwalk, so they're very, very content with where they're sitting right now. Cutler still has smoke and 2 flashes, and he's holding those out towards long. Right now, he's going to walk towards mid to reconvene with his teammates, but it does remain to be seen where they choose to go. B bomb site, Rue has fallen back out of mid, so he's now grouped up with Ocean, at least in the B bomb site.
CLG now are going to be grouping their players up as they normally do. They've already moved one out, the early warning player here, which is going to be Tarek, trying to draw them away from that A bomb site as the rest of the team is getting ready to go for a cat hit, but Tarek falls away, and the rest of the team now following suit. Smoke's going down inside of CT to prevent them from rotating, and actually a very well-timed flash completely blinds Invert, and then he just gets blindsided by Hazed on the entry itself. Vice, in the meantime, is sitting in pit, and the rest of the rotations are so far away. There's going to be a nice shot from Vice, actually, to take down JDM, and Rue is being very reactive about this retake, moving in, wins a duel versus Cutler, and all of a sudden, this is not 100% a secure round anymore for the guys on CLG to take. There's Hazed, though, with a nice shot, shuts down Rue. Tarek looking for one out in the open here versus Vice. He's going to run out of ammo, he's just jumping around there to bait out some time for Hazed to finish him off. It'll succeed, and as Tarek gets his reload, he's going to take down Ocean to give CLG their first round here in the second half.
Yeah, but Hayes hit like a truck that round, coming up, swinging off Catwalk, grabbing a quick kill on Invert, who was playing at the railing. So 9-7, CLG do win that pistol round. This time, doesn't look like KKona is investing too much into this. They do upgrade some pistols right at the end. Some armor as well gets added in. But everyone bought out till, I mean, 3 members haven't invested, so it's just Els and Rue who have any kind of utility, upgraded pistol or armor. So 3 members choosing just to essentially save up. Mac 10 on JDM, try and get that bonus money. Cutler's got the P90. And this is the thing as well. I mean, there's not a lot of, with this buy, there's not a lot of utility on the T side for this anti-eco. We've seen that very, very popular on teams like NIP. Some of the European teams are very, very much focused on using a lot of utility on these anti-eco rounds because, you know, they're so dangerous. You almost have to treat them like gun rounds at this point.
But for CLG, it's all about the group play now as they move their players together. We're getting ready to pressure outside of mid, but there was a bit of a scare there with Els getting that nice pop flash in, but Hazed, along with JDM, are able to fall back successfully in time, so nothing being caught just as of yet. But 3-man stack on the B bomb site catches Fugly off guard, and Els is going to be able to take him down and net the first kill in favor of KKona this time around.
A little bit scary losing a member like that. Hazed next to the AK-47, he falls as well, so Els with 2 kills here. Pop flash comes out, JDM's not blinded by it. He at least recovers, but he's also going to get that AK-47 and bring it back to safety, but a 3-on-4. Vice has managed to salvage an AK-47 as well, and Ocean on this flank. This could be huge if he's able to time this well. Are they going to spot it? Cutler's looking for it. Nah, there he is. He's spotted, so he does fall. It evens things out. Vice, though, he's the next one for pressure. He misses the initial shot, so he's forced away. CLG just barely hanging on in a couple instances in this round. Timing's working out in their favor a couple times.
As Tarek peeks out there, oh, he's actually going to deck Invert down. Invert was the one looking for the headshot, but it's the opposite now. Only 2 left alive from KKona. Good starts to this round, but unfortunately very bad follow-up. JDM, though, peaks a bit too early, and Vice is going to spot him, but in the grand scheme of things, this is not really going to matter all that much, since Ruru has overexposed himself. Cutler will be able to finish off Vice as he attempts to roll back into CT spawn. So, second round goes into the favor of CLG as expected. A little bit of damage done, but they can eat that for now as they're on the T side. And KKona, of course, do have to go for the light buy round as they save up for round number 4 on their gun round.
I'm still interested by those, that just 2 players investing. I mean, Els gets a couple kills. If there's a little bit more, you know, armor and pistols, if some of the KKona members are a little bit more confident in taking some of the fights with armor, it could have been much, much more dangerous for CLG. Tarek now coming out towards long, can't connect the spray, but Cutler's going to follow up with the CZ, just taps away, finds Invert. Tarek holding off the pressure at the corner, and then Cutler's completely blind. There's some good covering fire from these AKs, and now Cutler's got to fall back, pick up the AK-47 that Tarek drops. It's all down to Rue. So nice passing of the guns to make sure you keep all of them into the next, and Rue's just kind of biding his time, waiting to see if anyone's going to come out mid, looking for that free kill.
Chaos this time, of course, much more manageable for CLG. Nicely played there as well by Tarek, and Hayes getting that nice spray control to take things down before they get out of hand against KKona. And as you mentioned before, Rue looking for a lineup on somebody rotating in from lower tunnels or whatnot, but it's only a matter of time before he is found. Nobody actually really checking outside of those mid doors as of yet, but just like we saw in the last half, actually. I think this same exact situation where he's the last man alive and he doesn't have any investment at all. Just the P2K, hoping to get lucky by lining up a headshot on somebody, but the odds are most certainly stacked against him.
So this is going to be 11-7 for CLG moving forward. They're going to have a decent amount of money. JDM will be able to just pass an AK over to Tarek so he can have the AWP. On the other side of things, there were a couple of members. I mean, this is the thing. Maybe those 3 members didn't invest into the round because, you know, Invert and Ocean have enough for AWP and armor. They might just go to that double op setup right off the bat. That would be interesting because Invert is the normal operator. Yep, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So light armor, 2 AWPs, decent utility on Els and Vice. Rue's a little bit starving, but no kits on their side. And for CLG, it's a full buy in pretty much every sense of the word. Full utility. They have an op on JDM. They have everything they could want into this round.
The split play once more. Fugly, as per usual, is going to work his way inside of the tunnels to watch out. And JDM back up on top, watching for mid. But Tarek all the way out towards long A there, just completely exposes himself. Not a whole lot of support for that one either, so Vice is going to shut him down. But Fugly destroys Invert there just right after the smoke plume, so it takes him down, and they find the trade to their earlier loss of a teammate.
Oh, he's being a little bit aggressive. Rue finds him, though. That's 2 losses for CLG that there's no chance of a trade. Just trying to see what they can find, but Rue's still very much alone in this B bomb site. He cannot connect with the spray. He runs out of bullets. Cutler finds him. Smoke's going to go down to the doors, and JDM could just perch up in these tunnels and guard his teammates. 1 member's close up. That's Els. He's looking to come through windows when this plant starts coming. Are they going to be able to cover him? He's coming in. He reveals his position, so he just falls away from it. It's going to be a 3-on-3 attempt at a retake.
And he'll sneaking his way back up now, looking for a way back in, but Fugly's got his eyes perched on that one. Also Ocean jumping up and down, trying to see if he can spot anything on top of the smokes there, but now they've just mollied it off. The smoke is going to fade away, and Els is looking for a way back in, but decked to the floor by JDM. Vice finds a trade, but JDM trades the trade, taking down Vice, and it leaves just Ocean alive. He's already injured, tries to go for the no-scope there. Fugly playing with him just a little bit, but Fugly's going to be the one that finds the kill. CLG win the first gun round. Some heavy losses coming in, but still, they decimate the CT side, putting them into a situation where they're more than likely going to have to save. And CLG also at a good point.
I like how you protect yourself now by saying more than likely after
I'm right about this time.
Not even going for it. Not going to own up to it, but they are a small investment. Is essentially a save. Once again, Els and Rue, though, the same as the last time, get the light armor with the CZs in the P250. That is a very nice round from CLG, despite taking a loss to Tarek. Hayes as well, falling when he peeks out mid. They group up, they hit that B bomb site. And JDM, a couple very, very nice kills in the last round, but it's Tarek who's leading the way. He's at 21-12. Fugly's at 19-9, so nicely done from those 2 to lead the way for CLG. They have a huge advantage in this, and there's Tarek adding 1 more to the tally. Headshot angle from Invert, and he's actually going to get more aggressive and essentially clear out this bomb site for his team who have worked their way up catwalk. He's about to call him away, though.
Bomb site B wide open for the taking now. A couple players around the corner. Nicely played, Ace. And realized that Vice was sitting around the corner there. And realized, of course, that Vice wasn't going to be noticing that. Takes the further away kill first and then just transfers it up close and personal against Vice to shut it down. He's getting a nice little play there for himself, and CLG still so far just absolutely bulldozing their way through the second half.
Yeah, back to the double up setup for Ocean and Invert. See what they have to offer this time around. Invert's going to be trying to pick mid. JDM's just spotting. That smoke is kind of obscuring his vision. There's a nice flash, though, and Cutler. Nice transfer over to Vice. That's actually a very difficult kill to grab when you take a couple shots at that first player and transfer over so quickly. Nicely managed from Cutler, although Invert has traded off Hayes. Now he's out in the open blind. Is Tarek going to be able to get him? He does massive damage, forces him away, but not able to complete the kill.
Tarek, of course, going to be the one that conquests forward, looking for the actual pickups now, but the final 2 over here towards the B side of the map for KKona have fully committed themselves inside of it, so this will allow CLG to work their way outside of it, and again, this is a problem that we actually saw from CLG a couple times in that last half too. Where's the rotation? They don't even know if there's going to be a hit as of yet. Tarek's just going to walk right in, gets that first one, going for the knife. Unfortunately, not going to be able to find that, but it is traded out pretty quickly by Cutler, leaving it into a 2-on-2, but still, they get the word so late here. Bomb's going to go down still a little bit slowly, so they'll still have the time to get into this site, but no kit on either of them, and also really only Els working with utility.
Well, and they're splitting up. Still 2 Molotovs on the CLG side. JDM guarding these tunnels with the op. He's going to win that battle. Els going to throw a Molotov into the site. He's blind, though, so he can't really do anything with it. And there's a Molotov into window himself, so he's going to have to go through doors, and he's not even going to look the right way. Cutler does bunch of damage, but JDM's going to finish it off with the up. So 14-7. This one is CLG in the driver's seat. Haven't lost a round yet in this second half.
And now KKona, unfortunately, because they don't have a choice, double the score working against them here. Just going to be trying to force up and see if they can work something with this one. This one actually makes a lot of sense, too. Still a decent amount of utility on most of the players. Els is going to be buying up to a Mag 7, playing close and personal somewhere on the map. But most of these guys just downgrading themselves to either FAMASas or the M4 with very limited utility in the case of Vice.
Oh, nice flashbang from Invert, though. Tags up Hayes, but that's not going to slow him down. He's going to return fire with a nice headshot, and they're going to get into the B bomb site. It's been exposed multiple times in this half, and again, CLG has no issue just waltzing right in. Here's Cutler watching the flank. Rue makes a bunch of noise, and Hayes even. Vice, this is just KKona at this point getting peeled apart. They know they've been beaten, and they're just kind of spreading out, not being too focused. So CLG is going to get up towards 15, and then from there, it's 8 straight match points.
Ocean will find one pickup here at the very least, running away with the AK, or at least he's hoping to try and do that, but CLG will absolutely be on the hunt for him, along with Els. And there's Hayes again. Hayes and Cutler with these shots out of nowhere have been fantastic this half, so he's going to find another one right there. Down goes the only really big impact gun that KKona had left in their arsenal. Els will survive, possibly with a Mag 7, but that's not a very big deal if he ends up making another round with that. CLG can very easily deal with that in what could be our final round coming up here.
Yeah, and it's going to be much of the same kind of a buy. It's going to be some FAMASas. I mean, Ocean goes for the M4 with light armor, but there's going to be no nades behind it. So many opportunities now, and once again, the money's built up, so CLG has plenty of opportunities, plenty of straight buys to just make this work, even if it takes them a little bit. And look at Fugly's not even too worried. Knows the economy's low, not worried about getting picked off by an op. He's essentially just rushing Cat at this point. Els is going to be back with Ocean and Vice handle this long pressure very, very nicely. 2 kills for them. Ocean's going to continue the aggression. It's all about the success of this catwalk push, which isn't too great. Els finds Tarek. Fugly does trade it off, but it's a 2-on-4 situation. Bomb is going to come up Cat late. Fugly's got to hold this off as long as possible. I doubt he's aware how close Rue is, how close Ocean is. And there's Rue with the kill, and he even transfers over to Cutler. So 2 kills for him on the round. Still, though, coming into this next round with a shotgun on Invert, he isn't able to trade that off yet.
And of course, CLG heading into this round are still going to have plenty of cash to work with, so no trouble at all. These guys going for their own reinvestment this time around. KKona just forcing up to the limit here, essentially, but now a lot more utility coming into the mix, a lot more, hopefully, confidence as well for these CTs trying to work against CLG and prevent the inevitable, as it would appear. We have seen these miracles happen before. It's all in CLG's hands now to close out the final round.
Very, very slow pace from CLG out of spawn. Spread out across the map, taking mid control. It's going to be Tarek leading the way. Doesn't overextend, though. Just kind of pressures a little bit, pre-fires some angles. Now they're going to work the way up catwalk. Op on Invert. That is going to be at the B bomb site, which actually allows Rue to cheat over towards CT spawn. So a big lean towards this A bomb site. And Fugly being the player that's in B tunnels, you'd think that would indicate that he's going to be a little bit more of a lurking role, that this hit is going to go towards the A bomb site and he'll just be in position to expose, or just make sure he has control of these upper B tunnels. If they ever want to fall back into a mid B split, they can just basically sprint through those holes. They don't have to bide their time and clear corners.
But CLG is still taking it very slowly. 55 seconds left on the clock. Looking to try and put some pressure back over here on Cat. No commitment to it as of yet, but they've kept their options open here. Normally, what we're going to see happening here is Tarek moves out. If Tarek ends up going down, then they'll fall back and try to attempt a mid to B split. But actually, Tarek moves in. He's going to try to clear out CT spawn instead. But the bomb is moving up towards Cat. He hasn't gone down, so they'll commit themselves to it. The problem, though, is that JDM, who was supposed to cut up the rotation, has been cut off himself. Tarek finds his first kill, but Ruru and Invert find 2 more after that. Hayes picking up one himself. Brings it into a 2-on-3. Hayes will be free to get this plant down, but Ruru is going to be close, so Hayes falling back now, keeping himself on this site. Cutler didn't realize it, so he's going to have a close battle, whether he wants it or not here, as he works his way up on top. And there we go. Ruru grabs that kill for free. So it's all on Cutler now. The plant is for him, but I believe that smoke's going to box him out. So as he peeks out, Els will take him down, and KKona will be finding a 9th round and keep themselves alive for a little bit longer.
It was a very interesting tactic by CLG there, with JDM essentially working solo out mid with the AWP, Fugly going solo towards the B bomb site as that hit came in, and it just didn't have the power in that hit off catwalk to really make that happen. So KKona is going to survive for another round, but still, with these plants, the money is still massive for the CLG side. It's starting to dwindle down, but as they buy through the losing bonus, it's going to continually build up and just give them buy after buy. So still full arsenal for the terrorist side. 9 rounds now for KKona, playing against 15 for CLG. KKona cannot lose a single round in the rest of this map.
6 to go here now for them to tie it up and take it into OT, where they're going to need to win at least 4 more to close it out from that point forward. They would still choose to do that, but Tarek just trying to fire through. Some noise being made early on in the round, but it's that same sort of very slow-paced start from CLG, where again, they waste a lot of time early on in the round, but then they'll group up at least 3 in mid. Probably, if it looks like it's the last round, probably going to attempt to either go for a cat hit, or if that doesn't go very well in the initial attempt, then fall back and go for a mid to B split instead.
A bit of a change in the defense at KKona. They still have invert inside the B bomb site with the AWP, but this instead of allowing Rooted Cheat over towards the A site, he's actually set up a pretty decent crossfire with Vice, who's boosted up in CT spawn. So if there's a mid B split here from CLG, very good likelihood that it just gets demolished. Ocean playing long, very much alone. Els with an AK-47, just watching between the sites, spotting for catwalk, but he's going to be very passive and fall towards long if he feels too much pressure.
Tarek still trying to bait out some shots here in middle and hoping to get someone, but nothing is happening. Unfortunately for CLG, they're running low on time. 40 seconds left on that clock, so they have to start moving in. They'll attempt the mid to B split this time around, as 2 players have moved out for control, but the smoke comes in, but also up close there's someone from KKona that's Vice, and he is going to hear all of this coming in, so the players on the B bomb site will be ready for this one, and there is hiding back. They're playing so passively. Fugly finds the first blow, but Invert responds, and Hayes catches Invert further back in that site, and back plat too, so they'll get themselves in. 4 still left alive. And while KKona did realize this hit was coming, unfortunately the players on site were not able to defend it very well, and we go into the 3-on-4 situation, but Els so aggressive, catches Hayes up on top of the platform. Just like that, it's down to a 3-on-3 as the bomb goes on the floor.
Yeah, JDM is probably not going to be aware that Ocean is flanking all the way from T-spawn, so this could just be a free kill, and it is. JDM not aware whatsoever. That's coming in 3-on-2 now. KKona trying to make this work. CLG's going to try and put pressure outside the bomb site. Fugly gets that kill. Ocean's coming into the site. It's a 2-on-2. He's got his teammate here with him. Els, smoke has cleared. Gonna get aggressive towards the door. He's got to win that battle with Fugly. He's got an advantage so far, and he does eventually win it. There's Tarek going down as well, so KKona makes it work again. They outlast, and they're even going to get the defuse towards the end, but that's going to be a 10th round for KKona, so they're surviving just barely.
Such a small amount of time left on that clock as well, so bringing it down to the wire. CLG, though, still got money, so still going to buy, just unable to find 1 round, and this is often a story we find with CLG, where they get so close to closing out the match, but then, regardless of who their opponent is, there just seems to be like almost a miracle comeback that happens at the end of the map.
Don't do it, Blue. Don't do it.
It happens a lot. It's like, it's a very common thing. I'm not even cursing it. I'm just saying it's happened before.
You are correct. It is most noticeably at Malmo against Navi.
Mm-hmm.
That was heartbreaking.
So sad. It's literally 1 round.
They were crushed. They were crushed. But either way, this time, yeah, like you say, there's still a lot of money built up on the CLG side. I mean, it's pretty much disappeared at this point. A couple players still have a decent amount of money, but because of such a big streak to start this out, you can see it's 7 or 8 rounds in a row that they were able to go up to a huge lead. But at the moment, 4 members on catwalk for CLG. Ocean is watching. I mean, this is actually pretty interesting that the opera for KKona has been in the B bomb site essentially this whole half. It's not something you see too often. If there's one op, it's usually over towards the A bomb site. Is Ocean gonna be aware that 2 players fell down? I don't know, because Els, he's going to be the one wrapping around the smoke, winning the initial battle, getting traded off by Tarek. There's Hayes onto Ocean. Should be a pretty solid round. It should be the end of the match for CLG. Fugly, though, not aware that he's getting... The flanker has been flanked. Essentially, here's JDM on catwalk. Has the thing with the... Oh, he's going to miss that. Drop the Molotov, though. That's going to buy him some time. That's a huge Molotov to have dropped because of that missed shot. So now he can get away. Flashbang as well. And that might just seal it for KKona.
They're going to have to make a last-ditch attempt to come in, but it's going to be so obvious. So CLG can just fire all the guns towards this point here. They're rolling in with the smoke, but JDM catches the first one. Molly on the floor, but it doesn't matter. JDM finishes off the final 2, and CLG finally will close out this map. It'll be 16-10 in the favor of CLG, and they will go 2-0 for tonight, which I believe will bring them up to about 5-11.
Yeah, as they're trying to avoid all that relegation, as we mentioned a couple times, still towards the bottom. But I mean, this isn't the team. I mean, maybe towards the end of Dust 2 a little bit, but Overpass was all that CLG that we've come to know over the past few months. So getting in the swing of things, climbing the ranks. They can't make the LAN qualifier in the UK, but they can at least stave off the relegation matches. So they do go 2-0 on the night, 16-6 on Overpass, 16-10 there on Dust 2. And to start things out for the day, we had the matches between NRG and Splice, in which NRG equally had some important matches matches to win if they want to make, because they're one of the teams who have contention, who have that possibility of making those top 4 spots for the LAN finals. They actually dropped a map to Splice, which hurts their chances just a little bit.
Yep, it's not necessarily a race to stack up more wins in your opponents. At this point, it's definitely like who's going to get higher in the losing tally first, and Energy adding another one to that one is not going to be helping their cases. A lot more of these matches get played off over the next couple of days.
Yeah, so we will get the standings up on the board for you, the new standings after tonight, as soon as possible. I believe they're crunching those numbers in the back right now. But yeah, it is going to be. I mean, let's talk about just. Not so much tonight's matches, but I'll talk about the schedule for the rest of the week, because we do have matches tomorrow night. We have a full night of matches. We've got, I think, 6 matches on Saturday. I think we've got, is it 6 or 4 on Sunday? 4 on Sunday, and then we have 12 matches being played on Tuesday. Not all on stream. They're going to be played at the same time in case there's any kind of a situation where certain teams could be winning or losing, could affect the other team. So 12 matches total on Tuesday. That will be the last match of the season. So yeah, we can get those standings up whenever. And that is, you can see there as they're updated, Energy with that one win. I mean, that's how crucial. They even dropped a map, but imagine if they had won both of those, they could be even spread out further from Optic and Selfless and Cloud9. But either way, Luminosity didn't play tonight, so they're still at the top. Optic didn't either. They dropped down to 3rd because Energy jumps over them. Selfless and Cloud9 tied for 4th and 5th. And then Renegades, Team Liquid, you can see they're in 6th and 7th. I mean, all those teams kind of hoping and praying that some teams lose, but basically every team in the top 7 has got to win out if they want a chance at making the finals.
Important to note, too, is the round stat that is there, because I think, if I'm remembering this correctly, in the event of a tie between any 2 teams, I think it's the round difference that ends up deciding who gets the higher seed and possibly, therefore, who ends up going to the LAN finals.
Interesting. Interesting to note. And there was tomorrow's matches, I believe, were on there briefly, but I believe we saw them earlier. It was what, Splice and... Ah, it's coming back.
Thank you, production.
It's coming back. Splice and CLG. It's going to open things up for the first 2 of the day. Cobble is going to start things off for that, and then Train is going to be the second map. KKona and Winter Fox will be the second doubleheader. That will be on Inferno and Cash. Once again, Winter Fox is one of those teams who's trying to win just to avoid having to play relegation matches, because they actually did have to play them last season as well. And they just narrowly got out of those. That was
a big performance from XP3 that essentially kept them in Pro League. And
yes,
yeah,
and that was actually against the Denial team, who kind of exploded after they lost that, and that's where, you know, Vice, Shinobi, all those guys kind of came from. So they've been around some of the Pro League teams this time around. But that'll be the day for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe, probably wrong, but I believe that's it for tonight. Then, correct?
Yes, that is it for tonight.
We always forget something.
Yeah, we always do, and especially the last one back after the extended break. But that's gonna be all we have. Actually, no, let's do one more thing. Let's talk about the Score Esports.
Oh, there you go.
Because that's where we talked about all the matches we're going to have over the next week. That's where you can check out the schedule. You can look ahead. You can check out some of the stats from matches tonight, some of the past matches for the whole season, articles that they have written up and everything like that. Go to the Google Play Store or the App Store to pick that up for your mobile devices. But that is going to do it. We are going to take the rest of the night off, and we'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, tune in then. Thanks, guys, for watching this evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.